All right, today's topic, how to hire out as a welder. It should be, honestly, the number one goal. Yes, be a good welder, but that's just a means to an end. The idea is that you get a job, right. that you get a job, that you land a career in the industry. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you can't line up a job, then it's not going to play out. So Dalton, what would you recommend? You know, you graduate KWI, you're looking to hire out. And we teach this. We lay down for about a week in classroom. Sometimes it spills over to 2 weeks, depending on resumes and working phone calls, practicing. But we go over this pretty good with our guys. What do you recommend?
What I recommend is start calling. Send out that resume to as many people as you can possibly send it to. I mean, every day I'd send resume out to 50 people at least. Start making phone calls. Start filling out job applications, all that good stuff.
Yeah, some companies will have on the website a profile, and some companies are very extensive on their website, and you can apply for certain jobs, certain states, certain crafts. But have a good resume, and we build that at KWI. You're going to have a slick 2-page resume. It's going to have, that top half is going to be all those certifications that you're getting from Kentucky Welding Institute. That's going to make you look pretty seasoned, pretty deep. You're talking, again, your AWS certifications, your NCCER, your CCO, your CCS drug toxicology card, your TWIC, your Basic Plus, OSHA 30, MSHA 24, I forget them all. So, CPR first aid, just all those certifications are going to make you look pretty good. So if the resume is where it's at, and it's not always, but you're putting those out, 50 a day is an awesome goal if that's what Second Shift is doing with Dalton. But we recommend it around month 5, month 6, so you only have a month or 2 left to start slow. So one day, send one resume out every day. Find a job and apply. Find a job and apply. And then as you get closer to the end, you start multiplying that. So now it's two jobs I'm applying a day. Now it's 5. Now it's 10. But you are getting, so that by the time you graduate, you should have lined up maybe 3 to 5 jobs on the backside, and you're ready to go. Now all you have to do is drive into that first weld test, is call the other 3 or 4 and be like, hey, I can't make it. And they shouldn't be too cross with you. You weren't there, you're not dragging. It's just that something popped up. But we find it's important to go ahead and line up a couple. If you don't, if you put all your eggs in one basket, if you just make one phone call, or your Uncle Bob is going to get you this weld test, and you wait until the day, and that project gets canceled, or it moves right, there you are.
Yeah, you're screwed again.
There's no paycheck coming. Now, so resumes, that's one option. Yeah. Making phone calls, like Dalton said. You can get on, we do the industrial projects report, and there's lots of companies constantly calling for welders. And so you've got some phone numbers there, you're calling those HR reps, you're lining stuff up. You start off with saying, hey, I'm Dalton Grayson, AWS certified welder. I heard you need some welders. And they're gonna say yay or nay. If they say yay, then you're gonna start asking some questions too. Great, when do you start? What's the weld test? How much is the pay? And again, there's some controversy on do you ask about the pay up front?
Most definitely.
Yeah, I think go for it. Well, I don't know why you wouldn't. Some people are gonna say, hey, it's your first job, don't hassle them on the pay. But if I'm on the phone, I'm not telling them it's my first job. so yeah, you got to know if it's worth getting in the truck and driving 1,000 miles to take a weld test. I mean, if you don't ask the pay and they're only paying 18, what are we talking about here, right? So you got to know how much it takes to start your truck and take off down the road. How much would you recommend that first job? How far out would you go, I guess?
To be honest, anywhere that calls, go.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I wouldn't try to stay local and try to get some experience. No, go out. Go.
Well, and if you're lucky, if you're living in Deer Park, Texas, or a couple other hot towns, maybe you can stay local. But I know for the guys that are local to us here in Kentucky, I mean, if it's outage season, then you could probably stay local. If it ain't, you might have to travel to hit a refinery, hit a paper mill, or whatever your flavor is, I guess, on the welding side. But that first weld test, I think, yeah, I'm with Dalton. I would load up and go as far as it took. I would make sure I probably have $1,000, a good credit card in my pocket there. So I'm going to hit that hotel because I'm going to be out some expenses. I'm going to be out the fuel it takes to get there, the mileage and wear and tear of my truck, I guess, a hotel, a couple Taco Bell meals there, and then I'm going to take that weld test and then wait. And it could be a couple days before they tell you yes or no, you're hired or not. Unfortunately, maybe they're going to x-ray this thing and they got to send it out or something. I don't know, but sometimes it takes a minute. And then even then, if you get the job, Dalton,
you're still out 2 weeks on your first paycheck.
Right, you're gonna have to wait. So you're gonna need some cushion. And we recommend at least $1,000 to get you stretched through those 2 weeks of hotel, of food, before you start drawing those checks. I would definitely pack a voided check in my wallet.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Set up that direct deposit. Have your social security card and stuff, have that ready so you can hire on with that HR rep. Absolutely. But
yeah, even if you're going to get per diem, say you're getting per diem on the job, you also have to have another form of identification, and you also have to have proof of income, or like a electric bill, water bill, something. Appliance bill.
So some companies are going to require that you prove that you're on your own. Right. So some of you guys are pretty young, and they know that you're living with mom and dad. So how can you prove that you need the per diem, that you have, because per diem essentially is the offset. You got a house at home, and now you're having to live on the road. So they give you that per diem to cover that. You got a mortgage and some utility bills at the house you're still covering while you're working for us in this different state. So in some cases, yeah, you'll need to have maybe a printout of your water bill with your name at the top, maybe an electric bill, stuff like that to prove to those companies. So again, go back to hiring out. We're talking about resumes, making some phone calls, maybe working some of those job boards, filling out their profiles. If you're living local, then maybe it is hitting up some of your local fab shops and tying into those. For us anyway, that'd be hard. I mean, local to Kentucky Welding Institute now, pretty saturated with some good cheap welding labor. You've got students pouring in here, so all our weld shops are pretty much tapped out. Now, if you're coming to KWI, that might be good for you, but just realize when you saturate a spot with a bunch of good talent, those local weld shops are going to pick up on that and be utilizing those guys. So it'd be a little tougher here to hit a fab shop and try to pay the bills, try to raise a family in that mindset. What else you got for them?
And that's about it, really, that I can think of. What I wouldn't do is, I wouldn't go around knocking on doors trying to get in. I wouldn't. Yeah,
again, depends on where you're at. In Fleming County?
In Fleming County, like where we're at, yeah, maybe it might work. Doubtful, but hey, if you're living in Deer Park, Texas, yeah, definitely. I'd go to all the recruiter stations. You knock on the door, they say no, go down to the next one. But for our situation, where we are at, it's not really gonna work out that well.
Yeah, and we get phone calls from you guys asking, hey, if I come to your weld school, can I get a job at my house? I don't know. Where do you live? What's your zip code? If you look at your front window, are you looking at a refinery or a power plant? Is there a pipeline going through your backyard? Those are some questions we might have to ask you. The question we actually reply with is, why aren't you willing to travel? What's holding you back right now? Because if it is a girlfriend, or if it is a couple cows at the house that you think are important, some of those things. That girlfriend, if she knows she's getting in with a welder, she should understand that this is typically the type of life.
It's the lifestyle we're going to live.
Yeah. So again, if you're willing to travel to KWI, then we hope that you're willing to travel afterwards to chase that paper. But hiring out as a welder, that's what we'd recommend. That's what we tell our students. And we do, again, an extensive 1 week. Sometimes it spills over, but definitely 1 week worth of this is how it works. We show them the job boards. We get their resume tight. We make fake phone calls. We line up weld tests. Again, showing them, because it's important. A lot of guys ask us, do you find us the first job after school? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the companies and the contractors. It depends on the season. The most important thing we think we can do, though, is teach you how to find the job. There was an old saying above my welding teacher's desk that said that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for 1 day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for his entire lifetime. And that's what we're doing here, teaching you how to find those jobs. We're going to feed you for an entire lifetime. So that's much more important than maybe just getting you that first job out the gate. So that's hiring out as a welder with the Kentucky Welding Institute. If you've got more questions, comment down below, ring that bell, and we'll see you later.